hustle. Every day, all day. This is how. This is 97.9, the BOX.
All right, 97.9 The Box. Good morning, H-Town. Keisha and Jess here with Swizz Beatz, the legendary Swizz Beatz. How you doing?
I'm good, sis. Blessings and thank you.
Blessings to you and yours too. Swizz Beatz, honored to talk to you, man. But first, wanted to extend my condolences to you for losing a friend, a brother, DMX, outside of the industry. Like, that's your family. So definitely wanted to start that off, first.
Thank you so much, sis.
Such a big weekend for you with, Verzuz battle coming back around, the rematch with you and Timbaland, and of course, DMX album coming out really soon. How are you feeling right now? Like, truly, how do you feel? Like, are you at peace? Are you happy? What are you feeling right now, Swizz?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little all over the place as far as the situation with my brother. I'm crushed. I'm hurt. I'm keeping my energy up. I'm hiding behind these shades. I'm hiding behind the creativity, and I'm busy out here making sure that he gets what he deserves. But it's a heavy situation for me. Anybody losing someone that's that close to them is no way to prepare for it. And there's no real true method of how to handle it. You just take it day by day, and that's what I've been doing.
You talk about him getting what he deserves. And I said this on the radio. I was so glad that we got to see him in that Verzuz battle with Snoop and just his energy that he brought to Verzuz. And that was kind of like the last time we all seen him in that light as fans.
Say that one more time, sir. Roll your window up, please. Window up. Sorry about that.
It's all good. No, I was just saying that I was so happy that we all got to see him in that light. For us as fans, the last time was with him and Snoop during that Verzuz battle. And people were reminded of how great DMX is. We all knew, but sometimes we get a little amnesia because there's so much music that come out. There's so many, but we got to see him in that light that last time.
It's funny you say that because, the reason why this album really happened and we're able to get it so soon is because DMX did this album while he was here. This is not an album that was put together and pieced together when he's gone. Every song on this album he was a part of, every feature, except for, I had to switch out the Pop Smoke one because they used the verse and put Moneybagg Yo on the song. But other than that, he was a part of the album. And when he seen the love from Verzuz, it gave him the confidence and the energy to start this album. So we actually stayed in Snoop's studio and recorded the album from that Verzuz on. And so it was amazing. And shout out to Snoop for all of the hospitality. He cooked food for us every day. And you don't see that in our culture every time. And it was very magical to watch.
Yeah, and this album is steeped in hip hop history, like you said, recorded in Snoop's his studio, even to the creator of the album, and some great collaborations on this project, like Jay and Nas and Griselda. Like, this album is steeped in hip hop history.
Facts. It's
Absolutely.
a masterpiece.
Yeah.
What was DMX's? Oh, I'm sorry, Keisha. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're fine.
I was just going to ask what DMX, perspective was in the creative process with this last album. What was his head at?
He was in a great space. It was the first time in a long time I seen that he really wanted to make magic. He really wanted to do it. He really wanted to show up. I didn't have to fight him for any records or, chase him down to come in the studio. He was in studio at 12 in the afternoon and doing what he had to do. And he was so happy that other artists wanted to participate. You got to remember, this is not when he's gone, these artists are showing up. This is while he's here. So to see Usher come in the studio and to see my wife, Alicia, come to the studio and work with him with the piano, and he was feeling super loved, and all DMX wanted was the love. And so every time a feature would happen, it would take him to the next level. And then, the record with Bono and that being able to be for his album, and Bono writing him a poem and drawing him a drawing and a painting and telling him that it's so great to have his voice next to another legend like him. It was just fueling him up. And that's why the record sounds like this, because each song gave him confidence to go to the next song, and it just kept building. And he never really had features on his albums. And in this album, he was like, you know what? I'm gonna let people celebrate with me on this one. And let's have some fun.
You know, the last past, I would say 4 months on our show, we have this segment called 5 Minutes of Positivity, right? Swizz Beatz, very unorthodox of what you hear on a hip hop station. And I just wanted to tell you that we started it because we started it with DMX Prayer. This was about 4 or 5 years ago. So we still play it to this day, 6:55 every morning. People wait, the city waits so they can pray along with DMX. And that just shows you what type of man he is, you know? Yes. And I always see this generation of rappers talk about, like, even listening to DMX brought them closer to God. DMX had a way of bringing people closer to God that even pastors and preachers and, you know, traditional church people could not do.
That's a fact. He was almost like a prophet, you know. He was a humanitarian. That he was one of the best and biggest humanitarians I ever seen, you know. X would give people clothes off his back, shoes off his feet, pray for other people when he needed the prayers probably more than them. He was always there to help people. That's the one thing that maintained consistent since I've known him since 15. X was the most giving person I've ever seen. And I'm a giving person, but X was like a giving person. Like, it was never really about him. It was never about the materialistic things. It was always about the people. And that's why I wanted to continue and put the album out on schedule how he wanted it, because he wanted, after he did Versus, he said, I just wish that the people had some new energy from me. You know, I wish I had new songs, and, you know, I didn't, all those people that's loving me and showing me love, I want to show them where I'm at today. And that's why I was like, okay, well, let's go do the album. You know, let's get it started. So that's why we proceeded with the project and then hold things up, because X wanted it out before. Go around the corner and park, please. I don't be thinking. Yeah. You know.
I do want to ask you, though, Swizz, like, how did you bring yourself to even go and complete everything at the end, put the finishing touches on? Because you have been very strong. Even you showed a side when you were on a plane of being emotional, and we appreciate that about you too. How were you able to pull yourself together and just finish the project after the passing of DMX? Because,
you know, it's not about me. You know, I have to hold myself together, because right now it's about him, and, you know, I have to step aside and just keep it about him and his legacy, and make sure his wish come true and get this to the people. But the cool part about it is, like, it was finished while he was here, so I didn't really have to do much lifting there. We did the lifting with the album together, and so that was a good thing. Thank God. But I think the hard part was editing the album, you know, making it the right timing, making it the right space. And that took probably the most time with the edit and how we wanted to start it and finish it. And I think that we got it to a very good place. And I'm just proud of him for wanting to do the record. I'm proud of him for putting the work in. I'm proud of him for being the fighter that he was since we've known him. You know, X has been struggling since 14 years old when he was poisoned. You know, like, he didn't choose to have an addiction. That was wrongfully done to him. And still, even out of that, he found some sunlight while he was fighting his own demons. He gave people so much light. And, you know, I also watched him help so many people get off of drugs and stop people from doing drugs. Like, he helped so many people. And these are the things that he would never talk about. You know, I could talk about it, but he would never talk about it. And this is the real DMX that I know, you know, the humanitarian, the hero.
I thought so. The title of the so many people.
Oh shit! Oh, I just wanted to talk about.
I thought it,
okay. It's okay, Keisha. Go ahead.
Who's frozen? Somebody's frozen. No, on the back of what you said, though, I thought it was so dope how so many people shared stories about DMX that they had over the years. Just fans, like the one young lady who was in a hotel and her father had been on drugs. He had passed away, and she said X told her, you know, give your father some grace, forgive that man. But you see all these stories that came out once he passed away, of people sharing what he did for them that nobody else saw.
He never talked
about it.
Never talked about it. That's real hero work right there. You know, he was a real superhero, you know. And so, like, when people start to, like, do interviews and want to use his troubles as their way to paint a particular vibe, I got to correct them, because you know, that was 1% of his life. He had 99% more of other things that outweighed that. You know, he was just real to let you know and use his weakness as your strength. He wanted people to use his weakness as their strength. So he purposely told everybody what he was going through. You know what I mean? People, you know, are on drugs and they not saying nothing. They keeping it personal, they keeping it to themselves, and they dealing with it how they supposed to. But X was like, no, let people use my weakness as their strength.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jess.
So did you guys both mutually come up with the title Exodus for this album?
Well, that was a executive decision that I had to make at the last minute, because the name of the album was It's Dark and Hell is Hot Again, based off of his first album. And due to the circumstances, Exodus felt like a more fitting name. You know, he really connected to that name. His son is named Exodus. He has it tatted across his neck. You know, he wanted to name an album Exodus in the future. So I just felt like Exodus is now, because he was so attached to it. And It's Dark and Hell is Hot Again was cool for a second, but you know, I had to curate and make the best decision at that point with the title, because it meant so much to him, and this album meant so much to him. It was a super deep meaning, and It's Dark and Hell is Hot is a cool title, but Exodus is like something that he really felt in his heart.
The passage Exodus 1:7 talks about being fruitful and multiplying, and we know that a lot of these rappers are out here from the, you know, fruit of DMX, the fruit of DMX. You know what I mean? Any rappers out there do you think that you can, off the top of the mind, do you think is off that DMX tree?
So many of them. It's too many to name. You know, whether it's the melody, whether it's the energy, whether it's the hype and the vocals. You know, I speak to so many young artists and they say, you know, DMX inspired them. You know, recently Bobby Smurda, you know, Meek Mill always, you know, say DMX and the Rough Rider movement, you know, helped him out. Young Thug, you name it. You know, like people, DMX had a space in a lot of the youth's heart, which is why, you know, he wanted to have, you know, like Moneybagg Yo. Like I know he wanted that. We had Pop Smoke at the time, but you know, they used that verse, so we had to pivot. But he was into, he knew what he was doing.
I know you often talk about like some of the car rides you guys used to have. That was like your bonding time, you know, the way you guys caught up, the car rides, the music. Any car ride in particular that just really sticks out to you, Swizz Beatz, that you have with DMX?
Yeah, when he made me drive 5 hours in a 2-seater to go see Scarface, which is one of his favorite artists in the world. But you know, it wasn't it was about Scarface, but during that ride, you know, he turned down the music and he let me record his life story. You know, it was deep. You know, like he trusted me with his life, and he said that I want you to have this just in case people need to know. And I thought that was so real of him, and he, you know, I haven't listened back to it since we recorded it 3 years ago now, but it was deep. You know what I'm saying?
When you say recorded, do you mean like recorded audio, recorded video?
Yeah, audio. You know, he never asked for that. Yeah, he was like, yo, you got something you can record me with? And I passed him my phone, and he just let it all out, you know? It was a special moment. Then we got out the car and went straight to the stage of the Scarface show like it never happened, but it was deep. And I couldn't understand, like, you want to drive 5 hours to see Scarface? I know you like Scarface, but I already drove 3 hours to come up here to see you. Now I got to drive to Boston? But X was so deep in his thinking that he knew he couldn't have that conversation where we were. So he knew that he can do what he wanted to do and give me this message on this long car ride. So he was that ahead of it. He was that smart. And X never asked for anything. And X asked me 5 times, we should go see Scarface. You sure you don't want to drive? I'll drive if you don't want to drive. Oh, I'm like, God damn, dog. Like, I was like, all right, man, well, let's go. And then when I got in the car, it all made sense. that he wanted to give me what he gave me, and that was the reason of the car. And he does like Scarface, so that was a plus. But the main reason was for him to give me the message.
You say he said, just in case people need to know, will you ever release that audio? Or you're just gonna keep that just for you and your brother?
I don't know. You know, he gave it to me for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still, I don't know what it is yet. I actually got to go back and listen to it in full on my quiet time. But it's so personal, you know, it's so personal. I know I got to protect it and as well, you know, I have to protect it as well. So he'll let me know what I need to do with it.
Mm.
You know, I feel his energy on it when if it's time to do something or not to do nothing, you know, I'm connected to the universe, and, you know, I'll feel what I need to feel. Yeah.
You know, this upcoming versus battle, it shifts in the conversation a little bit. It's this Sunday. And when I saw the flag go up, so I said, man, a rematch. I honestly have watched every single versus, and I did not remember you and Timbaland. And I'm a music head, so I'm like, damn, how am I missing Tim? So I'm excited about Sunday.
Right.
Well, me and Timbaland versus started versus. You know, we did. I was in a car for 5 hours because, you know, I just moved into my new place, and my Wi-Fi wasn't really like that at the time, and I had to drive up to the top of the driveway and sit in the car, use a boom box, and Tim was in his basement. And we thought it would be good for us to go on our own platform now that it's established and really give people the show, because we only had 20,000 people at that time watching us, which we thought was a big ass deal. We didn't make no announcement, and we see 20,000 people on live, and I was like, okay, well, this is big. So now to come back with a live audience, live on Sundays, that's action packed.
Sheesh.
Yeah, that's
God, I would love to be in that room. That's gonna be crazy. So man, but no, seriously though, man, you guys took so much stress and worry off of us during this pandemic. Like even my granny was able to watch versus, you know what I'm saying, where Earth, Wind and Fire and the Isley Brothers, like, I mean, just different generations. And then what y'all did, which was so cool, because you have this division between, you know, the younger generation, the older generation when it comes to music. And you'd be like, oh, this person sampled this person, and the older generation like, why you sample this person? But to see both of them in the chats, all these generations of different people just listening to music, whether you know it or now whether you're learning it, and then you're gonna go stream it because it sounds good, and then your favorite artist in the comments, like, you guys created something so special. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Well, look, Swizz, I know you gotta go. We gotta wrap up. We appreciate your time, brother. Man, always praying for you, and thank you for real, man. I love you, Swizz, for real.
Thank you, and I appreciate the love, and everybody get the Exodus album. Let's make it #1. Let's do the big dog proud.
That's right. You take care.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Swizz. Bye.
All right.